The formalization of the India-European Union Free Trade Agreement on January 27, 2026, represents the culmination of a diplomatic marathon that spanned nearly 2 decades of stalled negotiations and shifting geopolitical priorities. To understand the magnitude of this landmark deal, one must look back at the origins of the discussions in 2007, which were frequently derailed by fundamental disagreements over market access, intellectual property, and labor standards. For years, the European Union remained firm on its demands for drastic tariff reductions in the automotive and spirits sectors, while India steadfastly protected its domestic manufacturing and agricultural interests. However, the global economic landscape underwent a seismic shift in the mid-2020s, characterized by increasing protectionism in the United States and a collective desire to diversify supply chains away from over-reliance on single-source manufacturing. As the United States imposed aggressive tariffs on both Indian and European exports, the two entities found a shared strategic necessity to bridge their differences. This mother of all deals is not merely a commercial contract, but a geopolitical hedge designed to stabilize the economies of roughly 2 billion people. By aligning their trade policies, India and the EU have created a massive free trade zone that accounts for approximately 25% of global gross domestic product. The timing of this agreement is critical, as it provides a safety net against the volatility of transatlantic trade relations and signals a new era of Eurasian economic integration. The negotiations, which were revived with renewed vigor in 2022, finally addressed the sticky points that had previously proven insurmountable, such as the mobility of professionals and the harmonization of regulatory standards. This introductory phase of the agreement sets the stage for a dramatic restructuring of global trade flows, positioning India as a primary manufacturing hub for the European market, while allowing European high-tech industries unprecedented access to the world's fastest-growing middle-class consumer base. The sheer scale of the tariff removals across multiple sectors suggests that both parties have moved beyond traditional protectionist mindsets to embrace a more integrated future. The most significant breakthrough in this agreement lies within the automotive sector, long considered the primary hurdle to a successful deal. Under the new terms, India has agreed to slash its historically high tariffs on European passenger vehicles from a staggering 110% down to just 10% over a 5-year transition period. This monumental reduction is specifically targeted at premium vehicles with an import value exceeding €15,000, with a defined quota of 250,000 units per year. This move is expected to revolutionize the luxury car market in India, providing brands like BMW, Mercedes-Benz, and Volkswagen with a competitive edge they have lacked for decades. While the immediate tariff drop to approximately 35% will offer instant relief, the phased approach ensures that India's domestic automotive ecosystem has time to adapt to the influx of high-end competition. Interestingly, the agreement includes a strategic delay for electric vehicles, maintaining existing protections for 5 years to allow Indian manufacturers like Tata Motors and Mahindra to solidify their investments in local EV infrastructure before facing full European competition. Beyond cars, the industrial scope of the deal is vast, with India scrapping or significantly reducing tariffs on over 96% of traded goods. This includes machinery, which previously faced 44% duties, and chemicals, which were taxed at 22%. European aerospace and pharmaceutical companies are also major beneficiaries, as aircraft components and life-saving medicines will see near-blanket tariff removals. In exchange, European markets will become significantly more accessible to Indian industrial components, creating a bidirectional flow of technology and raw materials. This structural realignment is designed to double European exports to India by 2032, fostering a deeper industrial synergy that goes beyond simple buying and selling to include joint research, development, and manufacturing initiatives that will redefine the industrial landscape of the 21st century. While the EU gained ground in high-value manufacturing, India secured a transformative victory for its labor-intensive sectors, particularly in textiles, apparel, leather, and footwear. For decades, Indian exporters struggled against duty-free competition from countries like Bangladesh and Vietnam in the European market. This new agreement levels the playing field by granting immediate zero-duty access to 99.5% of Indian goods over a 7-year period. The impact on the Indian textile industry, which employs millions of workers, cannot be overstated. Currently, Indian apparel exports face duties of up to 12% in the EU. The immediate removal of these barriers is projected to trigger a massive surge in export volumes, allowing India to capture a significant portion of the €260 billion European textile market. This shift is particularly vital for India as it seeks to offset the loss of market share in the United States due to recent trade tensions. The agreement also provides a significant boost to the Indian leather and footwear industries, which have long been recognized for their craftsmanship, but hampered by price sensitivity caused by tariffs. By eliminating these costs, the EU is effectively inviting Indian manufacturers to become the primary suppliers for European retail chains. Furthermore, the deal includes provisions for the mobility of skilled professionals, which will allow Indian IT consultants, engineers, and healthcare workers to operate more easily within the EU, reflecting the service-oriented strengths of the Indian economy. This balanced exchange, European high-tech goods for Indian labor-intensive products, creates a complementary trade relationship that addresses the core economic strengths of both regions. The inclusion of these sectors ensures that the benefits of the free trade agreement reach the grassroots level of the Indian economy, supporting small and medium-sized enterprises that form the backbone of the country's manufacturing sector. Navigating the complexities of the agricultural and spirits sectors required some of the most delicate diplomacy in the history of international trade. For the European Union, securing a reduction in Indian tariffs on wines and spirits was a non-negotiable priority. Under the landmark deal, India's notorious 150% tariff on European wine will be cut in half immediately to 75%, with a further glide path down to 20% for premium selections. Similarly, spirits like Scotch, Whisky, and French cognac will see their duties lowered to 40%, making these luxury goods far more accessible to India's expanding urban elite. However, to protect the livelihoods of hundreds of millions of Indian farmers, the negotiators agreed to exclude several sensitive agricultural categories from the deal entirely. Key commodities such as dairy, rice, sugar, beef, and soya will remain protected, ensuring that European subsidized agricultural products do not destabilize India's rural economy. This exclusion was a critical concession from the EU, recognizing the political and social sensitivity of agriculture in the Indian context. On the other side, the agreement addresses the green transition through a dedicated €500 million commitment from the European Union to support India's efforts in cutting emissions and adopting sustainable farming and manufacturing practices. This environmental component is a modern addition to the Trade Pact, reflecting the EU's commitment to its Green Deal and India's ambitions to become a global leader in renewable energy. By balancing the liberalization of luxury goods like spirits with the protection of essential food staples, the agreement manages to satisfy the commercial interests of European exporters without compromising the food security or economic stability of the Indian heartland. This nuanced approach demonstrates a sophisticated understanding of the domestic pressures faced by both governments, ensuring that the deal is politically sustainable in the long term. As the world digests the details of this historic January 2026 announcement, the focus now shifts to the rigorous process of legal vetting and ratification. The agreement will undergo approximately 6 months of legal scrubbing, where lawyers from both sides ensure that every clause is watertight and consistent with international law. Following this, the pact must be ratified by the European Parliament and the Indian government, with full implementation expected by early 2027. The geopolitical implications of this deal extend far beyond the borders of India and the European Union. By creating a unified economic front, these two powers have sent a clear message to the world about the continued viability of multilateralism in an era of rising isolationism. The deal serves as a cornerstone for the India-Middle East-Europe economic corridor, providing the trade framework necessary for that infrastructure project to thrive. For India, this agreement is a validation of its Make in India initiative, proving that it can compete on the global stage while maintaining its strategic autonomy. For the European Union, it represents a successful de-risking strategy, reducing its economic dependency on volatile markets and securing a reliable partner in the Indo-Pacific region. Analysts predict that the agreement will lead to a significant increase in foreign direct investment from Europe into India, particularly in sectors like green hydrogen, digital infrastructure, and advanced telecommunications. As tariffs fall and regulatory barriers are dismantled, the economic synergy between the two regions is expected to foster innovation and create millions of jobs. The mother of all deals is more than just a trade agreement. It is a blueprint for a new type of international partnership, one that recognizes the necessity of economic interdependence in a fragmented world. As the implementation phase begins, the global community will be watching closely to see how this massive free trade zone reshapes the global economy, potentially serving as a model for future agreements between developed and emerging markets in the decades to come.